is up, guys? So this is chapter 13 of Sallustius on the gods and the world. So this one is an interesting chapter because it talks about the creation of the world and the universe. Who created it and where did it come from? So that is the discussion of chapter 13. So he says that concerning the gods, therefore, the world and human affairs, what has been said may be sufficient for such as are not able to lead upwards through the assistance of philosophy, and yet do not possess incurable souls. So it now remains that we speak concerning natures which were never generated nor separated from one another, since we have already observed that the secondary are produced from primary natures. Everything which is generated is either generated by art, or by nature, or according to power. So it is necessary, therefore, that everything operating according to nature or art should be prior to the things produced, but that things operating according to power should have their production coexist within themselves, since they likewise possess an inseparable power, just as the sun produces light, coexistent with itself, fire with heat, snow with coldness. If therefore the gods produced the world by art, they would not cause it simply to be, but to be in some particular manner, for all art produces form. So it is not, the world and the universe is not produced by art, is what he is getting to. From whence therefore does the world derive its being? If from nature, since nature in fabricating imparts some things of itself to its production, and the gods are incorporeal, it is necessary that the world, which is the offspring of the gods, should be incorporeal. But if one says that the gods are corporeal, from whence does the power of incorporeals originate? So if we're obeying the laws of nature, he is saying that like a tree produces a tree. So if the gods were incorporeal and it was just based on nature, if we were following natural law, then everything would be just incorporeal. Or like if a squirrel gave birth to a baby squirrel, of course it would. Or if you say the gods were corporeal or had body, then where does the spirit world come from, basically? So he is saying that the gods did not create through natural means. All right, so he goes back to say, and besides, if this be admitted, the world being corrupted, its maker also must necessarily be corrupted, on the hypothesis that he operates according to the nature. So if the natural world is evil, that means the creator is evil as well. So it remains, therefore, that the gods produced the world by power alone, but everything generated by power subsists together with a cause containing this power. So we're going back, before I continue, so what we're doing is going back to an earlier chapter and kind of the plethon thing, if you know about his philosophy, we'll go back to the first cause, the creator in the original source, and it says that it was created by power alone, meaning the first cause or the original creator. So he says everything is generated by power alone, subsists together with the cause containing this power, and hence production of this kind cannot be destroyed unless the producing cause is deprived of power. So anything created by the original creator or divinity can only be destroyed if the divinity has no longer power to hold the universe together, basically. So he then goes on and says that those who subject the world to corruption, and that meaning it is meaning the Christian movement at the time of when this was writing, is what he's referring to. So those who subject the world to corruption plainly deny that there are gods. Or if they assert that there are gods, then they deprive divinity of power. Okay, so basically saying that if you accept the Christian view of things, then you are denying, obviously, that there are no gods. But if you say that, if you accept this philosophy of Christianity coming in, and you're saying there are gods, then you're depriving the divinity of power. Okay? So he therefore, he goes on to say, who produced all things through power, caused all things to be coexistent with himself. And since the power is the greatest possible, not only men and animals were produced, but also gods and daemons. So again, this kind of goes back to Platon in his philosophy as well, that there was an original creator who created the universe, and everything we see in the universe, men, animals, humans, as well as gods, came after the original creator. And that's kind of what he's talking about here. And daemons came after as well. And as much as the first God differs from our nature, by so it is it necessary that there should be more powers situated between us and him. For all natures which are much distant from each other possess a multitude of connecting mediums. Because it's an interesting chapter. It's he's getting deep into the philosophy of the creation of the world. And you're going to want to stick around and check out next week. Because chapter 14 is going to go over it's going to answer some questions again of how does he put it? How the gods who are supposed to be all good are in myth angry and are appeased. Is that true? So it's going to be an interesting chapter next week when we talk about if the gods are all good, then why in myth are they always angry and appeased? So he'll answer that next week. And I will see you next week in chapter 14 of Sallustius on the gods in the world. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.